mercy. Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Robert Williams here with coming at you with another quick little video. And if you can follow me on IG, the Emotional Trader on Instagram, and I'm sure you're going to hear my baby crying in the background as my wife's trying to put her to sleep. So this is real though, raw and uncut, never planned, and never real any true privacy. I don't think I've shared before, but I am married with 5 kids, ages ranging from 13 to 9 months. I know I look so young and handsome. I get it. But yes, I have 5 kids and they're a blessing. And this is what we're doing it for, right? But I know I've mentioned I've had kids, but I don't know if I mentioned how old they were. So 13, 13, 9, one turned 7 today, and a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old. So such a blessing to have those kids and be able to do what I want to do and things for them. Even while, working a job or trying to be an investor, just setting things up for them to have an incredible future. So with that, a little bit off topic, as I didn't plan to discuss that, but you're getting it raw and uncut, right? No practicing, straight off the top of the dome. So if you hear stuff in the background, that's just because the walls are thin, all right? Now, what I'd like to do is make a quick video going into ThinkorSwim and something else that I really do like about ThinkorSwim. So let me go ahead and share my screen and pull up that good old trusty ThinkorSwim. So right now we're taking a look at Starbucks. I have it set up with, this is actually my trading workspace. And if you watch the previous videos, it's actually my trading workspace that I normally use. But what we're going to do is take it back to the YouTube workspace, right? Which is the one that we kind of built, or it shows you how you can save it. And we built this kind of together in previous videos if you go ahead and take a look. And so let's make that big again. And we have some Russell mid-cap stuff over here. But what I'm going to do today is show you a really cool tool that I like. And I'm actually going to go to my core watch list just because it's going to make it a little bit easier. But what I'd like to show you today is the analyze tool called Thinkback. The Thinkback you can find here. It's in the Analyze tab, and it's right here. It's called Thinkback. And so I've talked about this with a lot of people that I recommend ThinkorSwim to because of how cool it is and the way that you can utilize it. So with the Thinkback functionality, what this practically allows you to do is if you wanted to know how you can perform on, or how you could have performed on an options trade, then you can go into, from the past, then you can go into the Analyze tab and do the Thinkback. So let's say, for example, you were in ARK, and yes, I'm picking ARK right now because it's getting hammered, unfortunately, but all of its investments are still good, but I want to utilize this to prove a point here because I am in ARK. And I'm going to go with, oh, where's the thing? Where's my stuff that used to stay pinned up here? That's not right, but whatever. But I'm going to go with ARK because I am in the ARK position. I'm going to load a study of no EMAs. I have absolutely no idea why. No, let's go back here. Let's put that thing on top of here that I talked about. No, why did I click on studies again? Chart settings. Chart settings, my tools on each chart, apply. Okay, bring it. You know what? That didn't even save none of that. Shady butt. All right, let's go ahead and do this real quick. So we're going to keep trend lines up there. We're going to keep text notes up there. No, we're not. I'm sorry. We're not going to keep text notes up there. We're going to change that to price level. We're going to change this to drawing tool of a rectangle. There you are. And then we're going to add buttons for a study. My study sets, we're going to do the 10, 20, 100. We're going to do another study set that I have of the no EMA. We're going to do another study set that I have of the Bollinger Bands with RSI. And you know what? For cracks and giggles, let's do one of the 830 folk cross. Done. It's pinned there. Let's take it to no EMAs, or let's take it to the lines. All that jazz and stuff on there. But let's take it to no EMAs. All right, so look, this is, I want to utilize this ARK for this example here, because we're going to do a put and we're also going to do a call. We're going to do a put looking at all this stuff over here, but we're going to do a call because I am in ARK trade. I'm in 2 long-term option positions. That one that I got in back here in November. The reason I got back in here in November is when it bounced off of the 50 EMA. I saw that as a very good opportunity to be able to pick up on ARKK because it was at a support on the uptrend. Okay, if we zoom out, and come back over here, right? This is the day that I saw. This is the day I say, you know what? It has been, it bounces off that 50, even though it went a little bit low here, but it's back here. Even if it dropped to the 100, I'm going to buy a 2-year option contract. So getting in at this price or getting in at this point, even if it fell to the 100, was not bad. And utilizing the Mark Monroe strike price calculator and determining the strike price, got a $100 strike for January 2023 expiration. Okay. All right, so that's a mouthful, but wanted to get that out. And so with the Thinkback tool, we can say to ourselves, okay, I got that trade, but what if I would have picked a different expiration? What if I would have picked a different strike price, right? What if I would have went shorter term versus longer term? So that's what Thinkback allows you to do. So you can really fine tune your strategy of maybe like what's your bread and butter of an entry, or what are you more comfortable with stomaching? Okay, as far as the amount of upside you can get or the potential downside that you can get based off of how the stock moves, right? So let's take a look at Thinkback. We're going to enter in the trade that I did of the $100 call option. It was out of the money. As you can see, the stock price was, or the ETF was about 93 bucks that day. So it was an out of money option with a $100 strike. Okay. And so what you would do here, you would go to the Analyze and Thinkback tab. You're going to put in here your option, your security or whatever. Select that. Over here to the right, you're going to select the date of the day that you want to look at the option chain. Because so this option chain is giving me as of today's ending prices, but I want to go all the way back to what's this date here? This is November 10th. So let's go back in the calculator to November 10th. I'm going to select that date. Now the entire option chain changes to what was available that day. Okay, what was available that day on the option chain. And so you can see how it has all these things in here, right? And so, like I said, I picked a 2023. This is a very simple options chain. It doesn't have all the, other stuff that we would have that I would, Delta and all this other type of stuff, right? Let's keep it very simple right now. So as I mentioned, let's go ahead and click more than 4 strikes though, right? Let's click 10. Let's just click 10. If we did all, how many would be available? A lot would be available, right? Okay, so let's actually do 14. So as I mentioned, I picked the $100 strike. So with Thinkback, this is giving you the price based off the end of the day. All right, so the end of the day price on ARKK was $98.73. So the end of the day price on the option chain was pretty much this for the $100, or this for the $100 strike. So we're going to say that we are entering in, we got this $100, the $100 strike. We're going to click on the ask, and it's going to populate it down here in this little box, right? This middle section here. And then, so it's telling us what we're paying, which is pretty much 24.05. That was the mid, right? The mark. And we can select how many options we had. So I had 2. Because I was like, man, I'm about to put 2,400 in one option. Gee, so I did 2 for 5,000, and it's like, all right, weathering the storm. Oh no, I didn't do 2. I did 1. I'm tripping. I did 1 because I was like, let's see if this thing works out. So what this allows you to do here in this box, right here in this box right here, it shows, these are the days where that you can go to so that you can see your profit and loss on the option. All right. So, and then what the graph shows you too, it pretty much shows you the graph from my entry date that I'm zoomed in on, right? I can see the whole graph, like literally from the graph screen, it's down here, but from my whole entry, and it's just going to show me the whole market, right? And this yellow line is your profit line. Okay. This yellow line is showing you what your profit is on this Thinkback. Okay. So when you go ahead and you start just advancing days, I want you to pay attention to the P&L open over here. Okay. Pay attention to the P&L open over here. So we're going to advance some days. And the P&L, you know, on the weekends, it's not going to do anything. But as you advance, the P&L is telling you pretty much what the profit and loss would have been for that day, right? So I'm just clicking through some days here, but let's go to a really nice key day, right? Let's go to December 22nd, so right before Christmas. So you got in on November 10th. We're going to go to December 22nd. And on that day, with the stock price being at, or the ETF being at about $134 and $135, what you're looking at is a profit of $2,875. That's the profit on this trade that you got in on this one option at $24 a share on the option. So obviously doing some simple math here, pulling up my trusty phone calculator, we are looking at 24.05 times 100 shares, because that's what's in one contract. So you invested $2,400. We're going to take the profit, 28.75 divided by 24.05, and it's letting you know that, well, you multiply that by 100, and that means that you are at 119% ROI. Okay, that is after pretty much a month and 10 days. So as you can imagine, if we were to bounce over here to January 8th, it's going to have some fun. Go January 8th, let's take a look and see what that profit is. You're looking at 36.40, right? 36.40. 36.40 divided by 24.05. That puts you at a profit, and multiplied by 100. That puts you at a profit of, it was 151%. I accidentally pressed a button on here. But 151% profit on this day, that day. All right, so let's see, what did it go down to when it was at on January 29th though, right? So we had a dip here on January 29th. What did it go to? So let's go January 29th. It's going to start to populate over here what the profit and loss number is. And look at that, it's 35.75. Interesting, because you had a, what, 1.8 to the end of the month. You had some upside move, which obviously did good for you. It did good for your option and increased in value. And then it pulled back to a support line. And now we're at still 35.75. So you went from 141, and it, you know, actually that's really not much of a difference of 135 in the price wise. And you're at 35.75. So 35.75 divided by the 24.05 that you invested times 100 still puts you at 148% there that you have. All right. So now let's go to when the things was getting real juicy, getting real sexy, right before treasury bond yields and all that bull crap. Okay. So let's go to 2/12. 2/12 of this year before everything went to hell. And on 2/12, you were looking at a profit of 4,675 divided by your initial investment of 24.05 times that times 100 puts you at 194% ROI on this day. Okay. On this day here, that's what your profit is. So that's why I really like the Thinkback tool, because it allows you to see, you know, where you were or what you had, right? And let's say that you actually got it at a better price on this day. You can go in here and you can change the price. You can say, well, you know what? I really got mine at, and I think I got mine at $22, right? So then it changes your P&L accordingly of what you got it that day. Okay. So that's the cool thing about Thinkback. Like, kind of, what your trades did, and you can look back and see this type of performance. But the reason why I like to really show it is because of this. So let's go back to November 11th. Why not? I don't know why I picked that. Oh, all right. So November 11th. I swore I did the 10th, but whatever. So you got in on the January 2023 call. Let's say that you were like, all right, what would it be if I would have gotten in, say, January 2022? Or let's say, so you can do it a bunch of different ways. You can say, all right, what if I didn't get the $100 strike? What if I got the 120? Like extra aggressive, right? Throw it on there. So now when you throw it on there, why? Oh, you know what? This thing, go back to the 10th, brother. Why you don't want to go back to the 10th one? November 10th. Oh, it's acting bootsy now. Let me pause for a second. Where do I pause? Oh, I take there. Okay, I paused for a second because my battery was going to die on my laptop. All right, let's go. And we were trying to find out why this thing wasn't going to the 10th, being Bootsy Johnson, but whatever. All right, so we're here on the 11th, November 11th, right? That's not the day I got in, but I'm not going to split hairs about it. So let's say you said instead of January 2023, or no, yeah, let's say instead of doing the $100 strike, you said, let me do the 120 on the same January 2023. So now you can pop that up there, okay? And you could start to see what those profits would have looked like. So let's go to kind of those same time frames. Let's go to 1222. Let's go to 1222. It's going to populate and show you what those profits are. In both cases, we were up over 100% already, right? But now you're looking at 2630 on the $120 strike because you paid less for it, right? You didn't have to pay as much money for that. So 2630 divided by 1675 equals, oh, why did I not, 2630 divided by 1675 times 100. So right there, you're already sitting at 150% there, right? And then if we go to 1 January 8th, then this is what we're looking like there, right? So giving you an example, look at that. The amount of money that you put in was definitely less, but you're already at almost the same amount of profit, only a $500 difference really. And of course, in this case, you're looking at a higher ROI on this lower one because you put in less money, okay? So wanted to paint that picture. That's what you can do. We're not going to go over here to this day because I want to try to keep this as short as possible. Keep it as short as possible. But let's go back to the 11th, right? So let's say instead of doing the January 2023 call, you said, all right, I'm gonna do the January 2022, and let's say you said to yourself, look, I'm gonna do the same $100 strike, right? Click on it just like I did there. I did it really quick. Sorry about that, but here it is. It throws it up right here. Here's this one. So now as you advance through your days, let's go to the 1222. You advance through your days, you could have seen what your numbers were looking like at that point as well. Okay. You see what your numbers are looking like there. And then let's say you do the long-term trade, right? You pick still like a year out option or a 2-year out option. But you're saying, you know, I want to be that swing trader. I really want to be maybe being something for, in this case, 60 days, 2 months, or this one takes you from 2 months to 4 months, right? So let's say you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with and go a little bit more short term. Now, I don't know if you would go out of the money in this case. It still wouldn't have been bad. Let's say that in this time, you picked in the money, right? And you wanted to kind of lock in some intrinsic value. Maybe you went down to 95, Or maybe you just did at the money, right? You stayed at 98. So go ahead and throw that on there, right? And you can see here on the, so now we have all these different options that we could have been picking and playing on, or that you could have picked, right? Like I said, the top one is mine. That's the one that I did. But you have the option here, and you have this this $98 one. And I know it's showing a break of not applicable. That's because ARK did something with its options, and it changes them from whole numbers to like $97 and something cents. So it's not putting that in there. Of course, if I get rid of that recent one that we added, it's going to show it there, right? But I don't really know why it is. Let me see if I do know. Yeah, it's going to mess it up. I don't know why it's doing that, but let's just go a little short term with it, okay? So let's pay attention only to this March one because we're going to go shorter term. So let's go just to here. Let's just go to 1222. You can take a look and you can see what these profits would have been like. And on 1222, if you would have went same $100 strike, this time, you know, this was close to being at the money. But on your March play, after 1 month and 10 days, you are sitting, bottom line, let's look at that, $2,700 in profit on an $870 entry. So 2775 divided by 870 puts you at a 300% profit, 300% ROI. Okay. So I share that all to say that, all right, look, that can help you gauge if you're willing to stomach maybe some of those things, right? Because after its dip, it's not going to give me a price after 1229. I'm sorry about that. That's ThinkorSwim on this limitation with this particular strike here. But you can see if there were some more dips, maybe you can see if you can stomach the highs and the lows. And picking something 4 months out is still a really good swing trade. It was still a really good swing trade, right? So that's what I like that for, right? So you can see how you would have fared if you would have picked the other options. Sometimes you just don't know which one you should pick, but or could pick. But it's up to the amount of money that you're willing to invest in, amongst a bunch of other things. But then the other thing that you can use Thinkback for is like, you know, maybe you're trying to understand how to do the call. So you can use Thinkback to see what is these potential profits. If you just are a person that buys straight stock, you're kind of not sure if you want to do options yet. I just gave you an example of what the potential for options are. So you can't do Thinkback with just stocks. You can do it with options. And those who you just trade strictly equities and stock, you know, do some Thinkbacks on it and say, man, if I would have picked an option, what type of investment would that have been, and what type of return could that have brought? But then also what I like to recommend too, for those who are not familiar in doing puts, is now you can kind of see the same thing. Well, what would it have been if I would have got in on a put? So let's go ahead and I'm going to remove the Fibonacci lines in here. And let's say not necessarily this area, because the fall that was treasury, okay, but it's been definitely dipping bad here. So let's go to the chart real quick, and we're going to go to the right. And here, if you're doing some short-term stuff, right, when ARK broke below all of the EMAs here, and even the 100, found some support at the 200, and moved this way back up, but then it hit the ceiling of the 20 and the 50. That's a little problematic. I mean, we were hoping definitely that it would do, maybe see an ABC correction and head it on its way back up, but it didn't. It's really still more in its ABC correction right now, to be honest with you. But let's say when you get to this point and you say, man, you know what? It's not breaking. It's like it wasn't getting above that 100. What would it have been if I would have entered in on put there? Let's take a look. So that's 414. Okay. Let's go back to the thing, think back. Let's go to 414. We're going to April 14 and use a lie. Yes, there you go. I'm about to say it has stuff on there. Stop playing. Don't play me like no sucker. I'm from the YouTube people. All right. So we're ready. All right. So let's say you want to enter into, you're going to do a put this time, and you don't do long-term puts. You definitely do, 2 months, maybe 3 months, right? If you think this thing is definitely not getting above where it's at, right? Let's also take a look at it on the Bollinger Bands. This is why I like the shortcut. Okay, so on the Bollinger Bands, on the top side of the band, maybe you feel like it's going to come down to the bottom side of the band. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, right? And then obviously it did this. We're not going to talk about that. So you're going to enter in probably like a 2 month, 60 days, June expiration, right? We're still not even in June, May. Right? And so let's say you're going to pick, the price on that day was 126, and you're just going to pick something that's at the money. You're just going to pick an at the money option. So let's go ahead and, you have the in the money that's at the money, and you have the out of the money that's practically at the money. So you have the 127.96, you have the 125. I mean, it's really up to you. At the end of the day, it's up to you. Let's put on both. Okay. So we have 2 puts, 1 contract each at the money. Zoom in. Thank you. Here we are on this day, entering on this day. All right. Again, the yellow line is our profit line based on these numbers over here. Actually, let me get rid of one. We'll do that one in a second. Let's just stick with the 120, the 127. So how much are we investing? 950 bucks. Let's go forward a few days. And again, pay attention to the profit and loss. This is how you can make money on puts on the downside. And rocking, and I'm going to 420. So here we are. We're at 420 on this day. So enter on this day, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days. That dropped. I don't have my moving averages on this chart, but if we go back to my chart, put my moving averages on there, we see that it pretty much hit the 100 as a ceiling, came back down through, and found some support right here to bounce off of. Okay. I believe even on this case, I have this line right here with these two. All right, so we're here. Push down, acted as a ceiling, pushed it back down. Back on our Thinkback tab, we're at a $455 profit divided by 950. So in this case, we are up 47% in 5 days. 47%, 5 days. Good trade. It's a pretty darn good trade. All right. Now, here's the thing that Thinkback helps you look at too. Now we pull back up for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next 5 days is a pull up. Let's see what that does to the profit and loss. 1, 2. Oh, can't forget about those weekends. So look, it chopped that profit in half. Oh, look at that, 424. Where are we at? We're not even there yet. We're on the weekend right now. 424. 425, that's still the weekend. 426. We're on this day here. So this Thinkback gives you the opportunity to really look at it and say, dang, could you have stomached that? From having been at one point at a 50% profit, roughly, and now at a loss. 5 days in, 50% profit. Next 5 days, $100% loss. Now, I know you're looking at this already over here and saying, well, it just continues to go down, so we're looking good. But on that day, that's all you see, right? On that day, that's all you see. So you could be wondering, are we going, you can, if you know you're charting, you could definitely be saying to yourself, well, I believe that 100 is going to act as a resistance level. So let's see and wait and see what it does there. And you definitely would have been right with what it did there. It didn't get there and it just busted back down. So as we continue to move forward on our Analyze tab, you can see what happens to the profit. Next thing, 27th, you just start making money. Sorry, I'm moving too fast for the profit and loss to populate. But let's see, if we go to 5, let's go to 5, 6, which is right here. Now you're at 100% profit. So you entered here, now you're here, you're at 100% profit there. Give it another day. Look at that. Over 100%, definitely. Give it another, what's 5/8? It's the weekend, 5/9. And let's go to this Monday, 5/10, because we're on the 13th today. 5/10, where are we at? 5/10, 1550, 1575. So what is that? 1575 divided by 950. You're at $165 profit in a matter of, what's that? 415 to 510, 25 days. So that's your profit. So you have a great opportunity in playing both sides of the field. Okay. When stocks go up, you make money. When stocks go down, you make money. The Thinkback tool could allow you to see what your potential profits are or could have been. Like I said, we could throw this 125 on there from back on that date of 415, and we could have said, all right, so what would have that been? And when I got to 510, and that's what it would have been, right? So when you're, so I like to say you can utilize this when you start to think about, all right, how am I going to pick my strike strategy? Maybe throw multiple ones on here to see what your options are, see what would have brought an even better return. Then when you get even more advanced and if you decide to get into debit spreads and credit spreads or iron condors and trades like that, then you can really use Thinkback to say, okay, should I get in, what is my potential profits if I do a straight call or if I did a bull debit spread instead, or if I did a bear debit spread instead of a put. And you can throw that up here on your chart and you can enter in spreads, vertical spreads right here. This is a bear debit spread, a bear put, right? As you would call it. So it's like I'm capping, I am capping my, we are capping our profit, right? But look how much you'd be spending there. And same time frame, and it gets there. Let's go to the 10th. This is you know, you have so much time because you wouldn't, I don't know if you would do a bear put that long, but that's 100% profit. I mean, all right, let's not split hairs about the fact that it's only $140, but you were putting in 800 here, almost 1,000. So what would you do on your debit spread? You'd up that bad boy to what, 6? 6. What's 1,000? What's the math? $1,000 divided by $1 and oh no, not $1.40 divided by 140. So you can buy 7 of those for the same $1,000 a year. You can buy 7 of them. So that means that you spent $714 and you got back $945, right? So that's when you get into the advanced debit spread stuff, right? So that was a little sneak peek. But that's what Thinkback is cool for. That's another reason why I really like ThinkorSwim, to be able to show and do things like that. And me and the financial disciples, when we do our studies on some Friday nights and we spend that time, we look at this stuff so we could see what the numbers could have been, would have been, should have been, right? And if we would have played it one way versus the other, we can utilize the Thinkback tool for that. So with that, like I said, I wanted to make it short, but I knew it was going to be long. This is such a great feature of ThinkorSwim that I wanted to make sure I shared with you guys. So until next time, I want you guys to continue to think, live, and be unstoppable. All right. So I'll see you guys around in the future. Peace.